Okay, yes, let me explain. Okay, first off, welcome everyone to home. This is where we meet regularly at the Zionist Center, and I encourage people to get to know other people because there's so much work we have to do, and the more you get along with everyone, the better. There's a lot of protests going on, there's a lot of events going on, and there's a clear threat and danger out there. Our event with Sandra Solomon, who's going to be speaking on the topic and educating people here, what Islam taught her about the Jews. It's going to be extremely insightful. But I'm asking everyone who's watching this through social media and people who are here to don't shut your cell phones off. Just if people are phoning, don't answer it. But I'd appreciate it if you are hooked up to Facebook through your cell phones, if you would share this presentation today. It's going to be live streamed. It is live streamed right now through Never Again Canada. Go onto their page and share it with your contacts on your page, with people that you know, and we'll reach thousands of people. So again, go on to the Never Again Canada page and share this event. Very important. Quickly, yes? Is there Wi-Fi in the building? Yes, there is. Do I know the code? I don't know the code. If you asked me earlier, we'd get you the code. Also, there's more food coming. So we ordered. It's on its way, and we're taking care of everyone. There's protests. Listen, our questions, we'll deal with them later. It's not... Okay, then ask somebody sitting close to you who could show you how to hook up to Facebook. But other people know, and other people will get it going. But right now we're on live, and many people are watching this right now. There are protests coming up. There's going to be a protest. There's going to be protests coming up next weekend at Nathan Phillips Square, City Hall. And Sandra could speak a little bit about that as well. And Ronnie Cameron, who's here, he can probably fill people in with some of the details. There's also going to be protests going on in Mississauga. There's been some recent reports. A decent article appeared in the Globe and Mail about the Peel District School Board, the outrageousness of radical Islam being taught in the public schools. Not only being taught, but services, and the hate that the JDL laid a hate crimes charge with the police against a mosque, a Toronto mosque, recently. There was some vicious hate that was being taught there, and it was filled with worshipers. Not one person objected. Not one person objected. These are our concerns of what's going on in the public school system as well in Peel Region, and the official reaction there has been to condemn us, condemn everyone who is here, who stands outside picketing and protesting, and we represent people of all sorts of faiths and backgrounds and nationalities, and we're all being labeled as white supremacists, Nazis, and you name it, but it's anything but. These organizations also that oppose us, these Antifa organizations, they're posting death threats on their Facebook pages as well. So we have to take them very seriously. Last Monday evening, when we had a meeting here, there was a couple of people from Antifa that tried to get in, tried to gather whatever sort of intelligence. We're on their radar, but let me tell you something. They're on our radar, and we're going to defeat them, and we're not intimidated. But we do know that the enemy takes us very seriously, and in fact, they should, because nothing's going to stop us. And when you listen to Sandra with her presentation today, of what she has gone through and the determination that she has, and the threats that she has to endure. And they're very serious threats, the most serious kind of threats, that she keeps moving forward. You should feel inspired from that, and the enemy should understand, again, nothing is going to stop us. We stand for the truth, and we're moving forward with that truth. So I want to let everyone familiarize themselves and welcome here warmly Sandra Solomon. She's our speaker for today, and she's got vital information for us. So please, Sandra Solomon, come forward.
Okay, hello everyone, and how are you doing today? Good, good. We are all optimistic. No question, not yet.
I just wanted to have the debate last night.
What?
Did you have a debate last night?
No, he ran away.
Oh.
Okay. I was supposed to have a debate with some Muslim guy, but he ran away. So, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. Okay, can you hear me? Is it better now?
Yep.
Yes? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming tonight, and I want to thank especially Mayor and the JDL for their support, for their help, and special thanks for Never Again Canada. Okay, special thanks for Never Again Canada as well for their support in helping the cause, and also everyone and individuals and every group and every organization who supporting me in my tour and in my cause. And it's a serious cause because we have a serious issue going on, not just in Canada, around the world, which is the Islamic terrorism. So before I start, and I want to say a small prayer. Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I want to take the chance and read a very important, one of my favorite verse from the Bible. We all here to learn. Who doesn't like knowledge, right? Who does not like knowledge? And it's from God. And I would like to take the chance and read it from Hosea. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I also reject you as my priest, because you have ignored the law of your God. I also will ignore your children. And that is a very important message from God, from the Bible, that we have to have the knowledge, and without knowledge we will be perished. And the main thing that we need to know, the knowledge of Islamic teaching. I want to start with tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Sandra Solomon, and I was born in the city called Ramallah in the West Bank, for a Muslim Palestinian family. My uncle was one of the head leader in the Fatah with Yasser Arafat. He is the head of the second Intifada. And I grew up in a family, like devout Muslim. We moved later to Jordan, and then we settled finally in Saudi Arabia, where I was 9 years old. So basically, I was raised most of my life in Saudi Arabia. That's governed 100% by Sharia law. Living under Sharia law, especially for women, it's a hell. I always felt I'm in jail, not just the country or the system, also because we were forced to wear the hijab and niqab and to cover fully head to toe. The educational system in Saudi Arabia, it's basically Islamic, concentrated Islamic. We learn the Quran, the Hadith. which is the sayings and the life of Muhammad. We learn very concentrated Islamic fiqh and Sharia law as well. All these studies that led me to understand very well the Quran, which is the constitutional book for every Muslim on earth, and the oath that we have to give almost every day in the school since we are young, that Islam is our religion, Quran is our constitution, Muhammad is our prophet, jihad is our way, and dying for Allah, it's our ultimate dream. That's the oath that we have to give in the schools almost every day since we are young. And the whole teaching of Islamic teaching as well, not just the schools, it's also from home, media, the streets, everywhere we turn our face in Saudi Arabia and the media, everything Islamic. In the school, they teach us regarding to the Jews, according verses that rooted in the Quran and according to the life of Muhammad, the founder of Islam, that anti-Semitism is rooted in the Quran, that the Quran teaches that Allah, the God of Islam, the wrath of Allah on the Jews. He hates Jews. He cursed them, and the Quran teaches as well that the Jews like filthy, they're infidels. They teach us that we have to do jihad against them. The Jews occupied our land. Israel occupied our land. It's been always Muslim Arabic land. It's never been for Jews. Jews who turn away from God, God cursed them and turned them to pigs and monkeys. And that therefore that he hates them, he cursed them, and therefore we have to curse them as well. Like in home, we used to curse the Jews a lot. We used to blame the Jews for everything that happened in the world. The Jews are behind it. Even if it's like earthquake happen, oh, the Jews. Not only that, they used to teach us as well, like as we're little kids, like songs that we curse the Jews. And like for example, we used to sing, like I would say it in Arabic, Al-Arab ahbabna wal-Yahud iklabna. That's mean Arab, our beloved, and the Jews, our dogs. These kind of chanting and the songs that we learned as we young, and also in the media all the time, the news that show us that the Israeli army, how they are killing the Palestinian kids, how they are killing the Palestinian family, and how they took the land. My grandma was from the people who left the land at 1948. So I had the spirit of revenge in me because I used to love my grandma a lot. She was like a mother to me. So I always hated the Jews. I always wanted to, like what they teach us, that we must do jihad. We must purify the Aqsa Mosque from the filthy Jews. We must take our land back. We must wipe Israel from the face of the earth. On top of that, we used to praise Hitler a lot, and they used to teach us also in the school. Like we used to do the Heil Hitler. Once we do the oath as well, and they used to tell us that Hitler did one mistake, that he left some Jews behind. And we used to praise the heroes who go to Israel and commit suicide bombing and attack the Jews and kill them. Every time the Palestinian family, the neighbors, my family, the family of the so-called martyrs, they will celebrate them, give candies, and they're happy, rejoicing. Even the mothers, they're not crying. their kids. They say, oh, they're gone for Allah as a jihadist, they're gone to heaven, and they're gonna be intercessor for us, to take us to heaven, and they are dying for a good cause. They are defending the land, they are defending Islamic faith, they are defending Al-Aqsa Mosque, mainly Al-Aqsa Mosque to majority of Muslims where I lived in Saudi Arabia, my family, neighbors, especially the Palestinian communities. It's very important. To them, it's a matter of life or death. Again, all this because of lack of knowledge and the historical teachings that we got in school as well, mainly also Islamic. We did not learn the true history. Mainly it's like the Islamic conquest, what Muhammad did and what Muhammad said, especially his conquest after he took over Mecca, after he came back from Medina and built the first army, and he started calling everyone who does not want to submit to him or Sharia law and kafir, which is infidel. And therefore, we had to carry on the same call or the same message or the same mission as Arabs, as Muslims. We have to follow what Muhammad started 1400 years ago. And I always say that if we're not going to understand what happened 1400 years ago, we will never understand what's going on today. If you want to understand the cause or the reason or what happened or what the conflict between Palestinians and Israelis and majority Muslims and Jews, we have to look back at the root of the problem. If we're not going to fix the root, the problem will never be solved, which is rooted in the Quran and in the teaching of Muhammad, the founder of Islam. And it's proved historically, his conquest, when he did what you call in Arabic, ghazwa, means attack, to the Jews of the city called Medina, which is in Saudi Arabia now. Back in the days, it used to call Arabic Peninsula. So there was a tribe. Medina was mainly Jews, and they were rich, and they were active, and they got the land. So Muhammad, he went to them trying to convert them to Islam, trying to convince them that he's a prophet. So the Jews never submit to him, never accepted his claim. They never believed in him, not even a single one Jew. So therefore, in the beginning, Muhammad tried to assimilate with the Jews, calling them, oh, you're the people of the book, trying to bring peaceful messages, or trying to play peace with them, using something in Islam called taqiyya. Taqiyya, it's rooted in the teaching of Islam, mean you have to deceive, you have to lie until you got what you want. It's okay to lie to the infidel until you got what you want. And that's what Muhammad tried with the Jews, but they never submit to him. Therefore, he started to wage the war against them, and there were 4 tribes: Banu Qurayda, Banu al-Nadir, Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Khaybar. So, and one of these tribes, the one who surrounded them for more than 25 days, no food, no water, and they start massacre them. That was the real first Holocaust. And they genocide between 700 to 900 people in one day at the presence of Muhammad, the founder of Islam. And one of his 6 slaves, her name is Safiya, a Jewish lady. After they killed her husband, her father, her brother, Muhammad took her as a 6th slave, or what do you call it? Malikat al-Yamin in Arabic, or the hand possessed. So basically, this is a brief information about how all this started and where all this started. as I always say, the conflict did not start 1948. It started 1400 years ago. And that's exactly what they teach me at home, in media, in schools. And as a child, we always, brainwashed with everything that our parents teach us. And we don't have any other option to learn from any other sources. Everything is covered with lies. Again, I lived in Saudi Arabia. I never met any Jews. No more Jews in Saudi Arabia. We never met Christians. The Bible is not there. Any other sources to learn any other, history even in the libraries, nothing. Mainly Islamic. So basically the teaching of the school, it's the most concentrated teaching, and I was there since 9 years old all the way till high school. I used to memorize almost half of the Quran. I used to memorize so many of hadith of Muhammad. We used to memorize every historical attack or ghazwa or conquest that Muhammad did toward the infidels, include the Jews. And one of the Muhammad, the founder of Islam, quotes or hadith, he said, "The judgment of day will never come until the Muslim kill the Jews, until the rock will cry out, 'There is a Jewish behind me, come kill him.'" That's hadith of Muhammad. And he said, "I will never live in the land of Arab, Jews or Christians, only Muslims." So therefore, many of these terrorists or jihadists, they're still carrying on the same message, the same thing that they've been taught since they are young. We've been brainwashed with it. Even though, yes, at my teens, I always praised these terrorists and called them heroes, cursing the Jews, looking at my grandma, crying when she cries and she say, "Oh, I was there in 1948 and I had to leave," and she had to be one of the refugees and she moved to Jordan and then later on. So I had the revenge still. But even when I left Islam, I was still hate the Jews. And at one time, I did participate with the Palestinian House here in Canada with the rally against Israel. And I was chanting with them, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," calling for genociding the Jews and take over the lands. Again, this is due to the lack of knowledge of the true historical facts about the right of the Jews for the land. And I still had the spirit of revenge because of my grandma. The Palestinian House, located at 3195 Arundel Station Road in Mississauga. That's the same place that the liberal MB Omar Al-Ghabra and MB Iqra Khalid, who introduced M103, visited. The Palestinian House, they still teach hate toward Jews, and they are pro-Intifada. The Palestinian Al-Quds Intifada, known as the Knife Intifada. It's supported and directed by the Palestinian leadership in Ramallah, the Palestinian Authority PLO Fatah, and Gaza, and Hamas. It is the terrorist attack that has been on rise in Israel. And many got killed and many got injured. And I want to take the opportunity from my heart, condolence for the family of the victims, and pray for healing and recovery of the one who got injured. The Palestinian House, they teach the same what I learned in Saudi Arabia. even here in Canada. They consider the terrorists heroes. On January 19, 2016, the Palestinian House celebrated the 14th birthday of the Palestinian child terrorist, Ahmad Manasri, and called for his immediate release from the Israeli jail. Ahmad with kitchen knife. Ahmad Manasri, then he 13 years old, went on October. Hassan Manasri to Jerusalem, Pisgat Siv neighborhood, to attack Jews. The two Palestinian teenagers stabbed two Israelis, a 13 years old who was critically injured and 25 years old who was moderately injured. Hassan Manasri was shot dead by security forces after charging at police with a knife. And Ahmad Manasri was hit by car, recovered after being treated in the Israeli hospital, and later was convicted of 2 charges at attempted murder and sentenced to 12 years in prison. The event in honor of Manasri was held at the Palestinian House office in Mississauga, with the attendance of Chairman of the Palestinian House, Fadl Mikhail, the Vice Chair, Nazih Khatatbeh, other board members, parents, and children. A birthday cake was baked in honor of Ahmad Manasri and decorated with the following message written on it: Happy birthday, Freedom Ahmad Manasri, 13 years old boy, shot and caged by Israel. The event featured children holding colorful balloons and posters that read in Arabic, Palestinian House, Canada. Free Ahmad Manasri, solidarity campaign with the child prisoner. And I'm gonna quote to you a quotation from a little girl who spoke at the Palestinian House and how she presented her feeling toward him. A little girl greeted Manasri on his birthday by reading following: Hi everyone, I am Maryam Muhannad. We are Canadians, Palestinian children, came today to celebrate the 14th birth of Palestinian prisoner hero, Ahmad Manasri. We ask all nations in the world of freedom to Ahmad Manasri, free, free Ahmad Manasri. So, my question here, what is the message that MB Ikra Khalid and MB Omar Al-Ghabra want to deliver by visiting and supporting the Palestinian House? And what do Amin Al-Mawad, a board member of Palestinian House, mean when he said, among other things, the following: On behalf of the Palestinian House and the president of the board, Brother Fadl Mikhail, I would like to take this opportunity to offer our congratulations for our Palestinian people and to our brothers in the Fatah movement, as it is the 52nd anniversary from the start of the Palestinian Revolution. In this dear occasion, we remember the symbolic leader Yasser Arafat, founder of Fatah, PLO, and the Palestinian Authority. And we promise to continue the struggle to achieve the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. Brothers and sisters, Mr. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau represents our dream of a real change and achievement of a social justice and rejection of racism and preserving the value of the family and the Canadian humanitarian message. Justin Trudeau, we are with you, and you are our choice. I would like to express our respect and admiration to our great MB Ikra Khalid. We fully support motion M103 on the Islamophobia. Ikra, you are doing a great job for Canada. So that's my question, what this leader or speaker meant by the following quotation. Back to me now. I began to refuse the hate and respect the Canadian law that condemn the anti-Semitism and consider it hate crime. I kept searching until I found the truth about the Jews and the historical facts about the rights of their eternal homeland, Israel. Especially my conversion to Christianity and as a follower of Jesus, who teach me to stand for the truth, peace, and justice. I took upon my shoulder as a human rights activist to stand at the front line to protect the Jews. But I'm still surprised why the government are silent about the rising of anti-Semitism and the hate speech that preached in some of Canadian mosques and Islamic centers. For example, I'm gonna say some quotations that are coming from many mosques across Canada. Oh Allah, slay them one by one. Oh Allah, help our brothers, the Mujahideen, which is the one engaged in jihad, in Palestine and everywhere. Oh Allah, beautify the Aqsa Mosque from the filthy Jews. Muslim will dominate the Jews and kill them. Oh Allah, kill them one by one. And my question, do you call this love or hate? The danger of Islamic terrorism, it's rising everywhere. And as proud Canadian citizen and human rights activist, we all must take it seriously and work together to protect our home and every citizen. Therefore, I'm calling into the Canadian government and especially our MP Justin Trudeau to speak publicly and take action to stop the hated speech against the Jewish community and work with the leader to stop anti-Semitism. The biggest danger that we are facing as well it's the rising of something that they teach me in Saudi Arabia. The dream that majority Muslims around the world, they still dream about it, which is build back the caliphate, the Islamic caliphate. That's what we've been taught, and that's what's still carrying on till today. And this dream, it's still supported by politicians, many Islamic countries, many Muslims, many Islamic leaders, and some of the organization and the group around the world that it's known, like Hizb al-Tahrir, Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, and also ISIS, and many others. And unfortunate that many of these groups and organizations, they have some involvement here in Canada. And that's what we need to stand and to face it and deal with it. So, coming to Canada, I did not see that much different of what I learned or I lived in Middle East, in Saudi Arabia. And when I came here, I was shocked that they still carrying on the same message. They still teaching the same thing in the majority mosques in Canada, and the Islamic Center, and Islamic schools, and now it's coming to the public schools. Anti-Semitism, it's a serious problem, and we have to stand against it, and we have to deliver the message for every Jew that you need to understand the root of the problem. You need to educate yourself about Islam. You need to educate your kids, the youth. This is very important. And finally, I want to remind everyone that I will do my best to assure that Canada is still and will always remain loyal to stand beside the state of Israel.
Yeah.
I hope that the government of Canada to never turn their back on Israel. Israel at the front line. Israel is the only one democratic country in the whole Middle East. Everyone can live freely. Christians are not persecuted. LGBT community are not persecuted. It's a free country, free land. I came to Canada to live under secular constitution. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of democracy, and that's why I'm standing here, to speak freely, even though it's a really heavy burden on my shoulder. My family disowned me. If I go back to Jordan, I'll be killed for sure. There is a Canadian imam here preaching it openly that whoever leave Islam, apostate from Islam, should be executed. But still, I will stand for the truth no matter what, and I'm willing to take it all the way to the end. Because at the end of the day, we need peace and justice for everyone, not just the Jews. It breaks my heart when I see Palestinian kids as well, brainwashed with the same message, the same thing that they brainwashed me with it when I was young. But due to my questioning and asking and rebelling against Islam and rebelling against living under Sharia law again as a woman, that's what brought me to the conclusion when I studied the true history about the Jews and connection to the land. Therefore, I would encourage everyone to take with you this paper that I bring with me today and show it to your kids. Leave it at your fridge. Read it every day. Let the kids see it in your synagogue, in schools. It says here, I will not ignore 3,000 years of a valid evidence and historical facts which prove the right of the Jewish people to their ancient homeland, Israel, in order to follow a psychopath who falsely claimed that he was a prophet and flew off to heaven on a donkey from Al-Aqsa Mosque. Any questions?
Yeah, can I ask you a question? Being Palestinian, so your grandmother in 1948 left Israel and went to Jordan. Did Jordan accept those Palestinians who left, and probably they lived around Jaffa area maybe, or wherever,
Yeah.
Jerusalem, I don't know.
That's-
Did
yeah.
they accept them, or like I want to understand, did they put those Palestinian people in refugee camps
Yes.
and didn't give them the rights of all the other Jordanians, as I understood?
Some yes, some not. But because they went to the refugee camp, as like what's going on now with the Syrian as well. Like they lived for a long time in a refugee camp. But after that, later on, like it was a struggle. It was not easy. They did not just take them right away and give them homes and money and food and all that stuff. They struggled a lot. But at the end of the day, when she settled in Jordan, they got the Jordanian citizen.
Okay, and then you said that you lived in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yes.
So the impression that I got was that maybe other Islamic countries are prejudiced against the Palestinian people, and they didn't think of them as below them. So I'm surprised that they allowed you citizenship in Saudi Arabia. Am I wrong, or did
No,
they?
I don't have the citizenship in Saudi Arabia. I have the Jordanian passport.
Oh, they
taken
wouldn't.
from my dad.
Oh, so they wouldn't allow
No.
your family to have Saudi. So they were prejudiced against other.
Yes, in
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, no matter how many years you live there, you will never get the citizen.
So how did the other Saudi Arabians view you and your family not being citizens, or did they know you were, or you?
Of course, no. We have to live under something called like a sponsor. Someone, a Saudi, has to sponsor. And if he decide between me and night, like to kick us out, they will do that. Like we have to have our Saudi native citizen who taking like sponsor of
Why
us.
would they sponsor you? What was
Not
the-
a sponsor of the meaning of a sponsoring when it comes like they call it kafala. That's mean like if my dad work in a factory or this like as a like a
like a work permit type
yes,
thing.
Yes, exactly.
So if it was advantageous to them to take your father as a worker, then they would allow his family to live there,
Exactly.
but you were looked upon maybe as second class.
As the foreigner, they always call us foreigner. We are foreigner, even though we're Palestinian living in Saudi Arabia. We call them ajanib in Arabic, foreigner. We don't have the whole like rights as a
I
Saudi
understand.
citizen.
And could you marry a Saudi Arabian native?
Because if it's yes and no, at the end, like if they're Muslims, but it's okay. But it's a struggle. It's not easy. They will look on it and like it's gonna be like a big problem between families.
Okay, I have a second question.
No.
So my second question is, you broke out of this. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't easy in a brainwashed environment to break out. So what was the straw that broke the camel's back for you that made you finally say, hey, what's going on here? How in that environment could you ever come to that?
The main thing is how women treated in Saudi Arabia. Like I've been treated with, I've been persecuted since I was teenage. I was always questioning like Islam, questioning Quran, questioning Muhammad, questioning the way the system itself, like the law. It's a constitution, right? It's like the way we live. I was forced to cover my face. I was forced to wear the niqab. I felt like I'm engaged.
Did all the women
I'm not
feel that
free
way?
to like. I have a guardian. I have male.
Did other women talk about that and feel the same way as you, saying, oh my God, look at this thing we
Yeah,
have to wear?
many, but it's with Sharia police on the road and the government, there is no other option. Many of them, yes, they feel the same, but they cannot speak. It's different. Some people can, some people cannot, and I was one of the people who couldn't just speak it out. And yes,
How on earth did you get out of Saudi Arabia?
which
How did you get out of Saudi
oh, my
Arabia?
ex-husband was a sponsor. He applied to Canada as an immigrant.
Oh.
So yeah, that was that's how I came. Any question?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to commend you first of all for your courage for presenting.
Thank you.
Add to what you've been saying, that I think we're pretty much aware of the problem and we hear the problems over and over again. The core of the problem actually is education.
Yes.
Starting from the crib, and we can only raise that. But there is an antidote to that, which is educating those people, the so-called Western educated, civilized people, where diplomats, politicians, academics, you name it, they all follow the lies. the antidote to that is education at the highest level, and I'm calling on the government of Israel, and I'm calling on people who are aware of this problem to unite and come down on the government of Israel to change its educational system, because even Israeli students are unaware of our rights and of the truth, and this is where the big problem lies.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Education, education, education. It's very important. And therefore, I'm going in July to Israel the first time in my life. Yes. And I'm planning to make a documentary movie to prove it, like the right of the Jews in the land, and to prove it as well with the Palestinians, and to speak for both sides, to show that the rights of the Jews, and like evidence, with evidence, and we have the evidence. It's not like, actually also in the Quran, the land is for the Jews.
If I may
Go
add
ahead.
one more thing, this is the 100th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration this year, and this is almost completely ignored by those people who should be on the other side, who should be educated, and the students. So the Balfour Declaration is of a great importance, especially this year, being the 100th year anniversary.
Yes, I agree with you.
This is the lack of education.
That's what I said in the beginning. My people perish for the lack of education. It's there. It's in the Bible. It's regardless if you're a believer or not. It's a very important message. Without education, we perish. Like now, many people are deceived by the fake media. We have the fake media here. We have the fake media, and the politicians who turn away their back on their people. We have governments who are fighting us, not fighting for us. We got many corruption in the government, UNESCO, UN, claiming that they want to strip out the right of Jewish people of the land and claim it all Islamic, and the Temple Mountain, and never been a temple, and all that stuff. So how we can face all this propaganda, all these lies, all this with knowledge, with evidence, and as much as we can educate our kids, the youth, university, no matter what, we will not gonna stop. We have to use, like we have the, praise God, we're at the age of internet, we have the age of, everything can like spread fast. Everything I do, it's gone all the way to Saudi Arabia. They already know me. I'm like, oh, the Saudi ambassador who also like spoke about me dancing on the Saudi flag, and I'm like, ooh, he might like that dancing. I don't know if he like it or not. I have to ask him. So.
How would you educate the Palestinian kids who are here? And do you think that some of them have changed their mind about what they learned and maybe think, gee, I think I was brainwashed? Have any of them expressed it? Have they?
I would love to. My main, like one of my issues now here, I will always call up onto the imams to have a discussion with me. No one called me, no one contacted me. I'm willing to work with Ikra Khalid when it comes to the study of the motion M103 to show them that there is nothing called Islamophobia. Muslims are welcome in Canada. We're not racist. We're not hateful. I don't hate Muslims. I always, I'm willing to speak to them. I'm willing to go to them. One of the time I went to the mosque and all that. Like I don't have that, you know what I mean? I don't have that hatred in my heart. I actually want both to know. Like once we know, like what happened to me, I break free now. And at the end of the day, I said it before and I will always say it, it's not the lands that need to be freed, it's the heart. Once your heart free from hate, you're free. Like, I always imagined myself with the kids and the father when we used to watch these kids, with throwing the stones on the Jewish people and the army. I always imagined myself with these kids throwing the stones and all that, but now, no, I want to stop these kids to throw the stone, and I want to also tell the Jewish people not to be afraid and not to be intimidated by the anti-Semitism, and stick together. That's my call into the Jewish community as well. And I've been noticed lately that there is I'm sorry to say that, like rabbis who turn their back on the community, who's like, betrayed kind of thing. Excuse me to say that. Rabbis, they're speaking against Israel. They're speaking against that, which is wrong. Yes.
They're a small movement.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, you Jewish people, They've been persecuted. Like when I read the Bible, when I read the historical, also the Roman history, the other history, because we did not learn this in Saudi Arabia, mainly Islamic. Imagine like we would spend almost the whole day reading the Quran, reading Hadith, and reading Islamic teaching, reading Islamic history. It's all Islamic, mainly Islamic. No other subject. Like we did not learn, we did not explore. They did not teach us everything. All the time we believe that Moses was Muslim, Suleiman was Muslim. Suleiman has a mosque, not a temple. And the temple was never been there. The Jews are liars. There was never a temple. Suleiman was Muslim. And all that stuff like this. So all these things that just bring back, when I read the true history, the Roman history, and I find out that the word Palestine, actually, it's a Latin word, came from the Emperor Hadrian, called it Palestinia, and the conquest, the Arabic conquest, when they came and they took the land and changed it to Palestine, or Palestine in Arabic. So many information, so many things that I will hope that I can do it in a documentary movie. There's a lot of history, a lot of history. I can it takes like hours, but as well not many Jews know who built the Aqsa Mosque, who built the Dome of the Rock. You know, and when was it? Like, what's the story of Muhammad flying on a donkey? Like, seriously. Like, seriously. So, like, I'm not gonna like leave all this and be like, oh, and the name of the donkey Al-Buraq. Like, here you go, for you to know as well. So, so many like mixed up. It's mixed up things. So we have to bring history never lie. History never lie.
Currently now in the Temple Mount, is there still the Jordanian police there, the Waqf police? You heard of them?
Shirtat al-Waqf, like I never been there, but I'm sure there's al-Waqf. Yes, it's there. Yes, and there's something called al-Murabitun. Murabitun means people who standing there, like or sitting there, like a 24/7. They change shifts around the Aqsa Mosque, just in case any filthy Jew will come and step there. Because to them, it's holy. They cannot let supposedly the Jews are filthy, it's holy. They cannot come and step there. So that's the thing, the barrier when we look at people with love and peace and consider Jews are human like us. They're not below us. They deserve to live. And again, the persecution, the most, like, I was stunning when I read the whole historical fact and the Bible, and I cried the Jews for the first time in my life. And I said, like, oh my God, it's been all these years, and we are like deceived by taqiyya, a lie, twisted doctrines. That's the root of the problem here. Once you have a full knowledge of this book, trust me, you got it all. Once you have a full knowledge of the root of Islamic teaching, you have it all. No one can, and it's so easy to break, even with Muslims. I know so many ex-Muslim, as soon they leave Islam, right away, Jews. Right away. It's like,
What do you mean?
right away to go to the Jews and to talk to the Jews and to love them and to have peace with them. We have Mus'ab Hassan Yusuf, I'm not the first one, if you know, the son of Hamas. The son of Hamas.
Oh, right.
We have Nina Darwish. We have big names. We have Wafa Sultan. Like, name it. There's so many. I'm not the only one. It's not like I'm adding anything in you. I'm the same line with people, and we keep warning and warning and warning. Hopefully people in Israel and in Canada, which is, I noticed as well, Jewish community, they need to be more active. Stand up. You have the truth. Once you have the truth, you have it all.
Can I ask you about, you said something about the Prime Minister and some Palestinian leadership, Palestinian House, and that they said he's with us or he's for us. What did you say exactly?
That was my question. This is my question. What does he mean?
What does that
Yeah, what does that mean?
does it mean?
Al-Mawad, one of the board member in the Palestinian
Right,
House,
yeah.
when he said on behalf of the Palestinian, and then they say Prime Minister Justin Trudeau represent our dream. Like, they say things, but what they really mean about it. So there's something, I encourage everyone, especially who live here in Ontario, to take initiative and look at the Palestinian House in Mississauga. and look at their activities, and look what they teach the kids in the Palestinian house there, and look at how they are pro-intifada. They celebrate the terrorists, calling them heroes. So that was my shock. After even I left everything, they still doing it, and coming soon, the Al-Quds Day. And this anti-Semitism, it will never stop. As long as we keep silent about it, they're gonna keep doing it. But once we have the stand, because it's so easy to face them with the facts. Till today, I call up in every imam in Canada to have a debate or discussion, I would call it, with me, to prove me wrong. Zero. They know my email, they know my contact, they know everything. None of the imams say to me, you know what, you're a liar, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm like, whatever, and let's get together.
What?
I'm willing, but none of them contacting me. They run away from me.
You mean, what percentage?
The imams.
What percentage of the mosques, in your opinion, would be saying this that you mentioned before, that we should kill all the Jews, and they're behind
All of them.
Every you would
All
say
of
almost
them.
100%.
Most of them, because from the first chapter of the Quran, which is one of the imams here, he approved the message, the wrath of Allah on them, when he explained it, and they're gonna teach it in the public school, referring when it comes to the commentary, which is tafsir, how they explain it, it's approved. It's the Jews. Like, Allah hates Jews. Therefore, we have to hate them.
So has anybody, has the government, like the provincial government, ever been approached about, hey, this is going on?
They all know. That was my question.
So is it necessary maybe a lawsuit against the provincial government, a bunch of people, a class action lawsuit or something?
Yeah.
Against the government, like you were allowing this, here's the Constitution, this is what it says, and you're going against the Constitution.
Yeah, that's something in the Jewish community, you guys, they have lots of lawyers, right? You're like the best lawyers ever, like seriously. So where is the Jewish lawyers? Here you go, another one.
I want to thank you for your courage,
No problem.
and I'm going to be praying for you.
I'm on.
Are you aware, because you live in Jordan, that because of San Remo, which was a declaration by the League of Nations, which preceded the UN, they actually called not just the West Bank and Judea, Samaria, but also Jordan was supposed to be part of Israel. Is that something that you're aware of?
Well, let's deal with the West Bank now. Go to the Jordan and expand, you know. We have the Islamic State on the rise. We have lots of terror, a lot of terror attacks that happen, like the war in Syria now and Iraq. It's a serious problem. And one important thing that all these jihadists or terrorists, they carrying on something called a self-fulfillment prophecy. Supposedly Muhammad, again, when he said in the hadith, the judgment of day will never come. That means it's eternal until the judgment of day, until the end of the time. It will never come until the Muslim kill the Jews, until the rock will cry, there's a Jewish behind me. So to them, and the mindset of the jihadists and the terrorists, they really take it. They really believe in it. They believe that they are doing God service or Allah, they're going for martyr. It's all come for the roots, Quran and the Hadith that came from Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Once I unveil Muhammad from his the holiness bubble, they put him in, book the bubble. You take the bubble, you're gonna see the real face that he was not. He was false prophet. He's a liar. He never been a prophet. And the fact that that was the main one. After I did many search, I go back to many books and I read to collect. It's like a maze, you know, like a dot, like puzzle. We collect everything. We read from the Islam came 600 years after the Christ, and like so many years. Like it's a long story. But when I came to the truth that I know that Muhammad, he was connected with a group called Al-Sa'alik, bandits and thugs, that's how they helped him. That's how he got power. And he started the Islamic State. So that's many things that we need to learn, and hopefully when I go to Israel, I'll be able to put all these documents and every single evidence and every single information to come back with something like no one can confront it. Like no one can say no to that, you know? So that's my aiming.
do you think that this documentary can be shown, can
Yeah, we're
politicians
done? Yeah.
get together and look at this documentary?
Sorry.
Fred.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so-
Thank you so much for coming, and God bless you. God bless Israel. That's what we're standing for. That's what we're standing for. Here you go.
Thank you everyone for coming today. Again, there's some more food there, and if you have any questions, come up to Sandra and ask her, and she'll be happy to take your questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just it. Thank you so much, Robert.